But I think what he's saying is there's a shrinking number of people that are willing to pay us what we feel like we're worth.
Sure. But
I think that we don't establish the worth. You go for attorney. I'm a $450 an hour attorney. You can keep saying that until the market rejects you. So you can have a one-off case scenario I think about a videographer that we used to have at our company, and he got someone one time to pay him $100 an hour. He comes to me, I'm worth $100
Sure.
an hour. Because someone else said that you're $100, I'm not paying that. And he has struggled and floundered because he has not been able to replicate that worth.
I guess what I'm seeing is that I think there's place for both. And I don't think this should be my way's better than yours, but there's definitely a place for both ideas and philosophies here. And when it comes down to it, yeah, I mean, I can still find people that pay me what I'm worth. You can still find people that say, I'm just going to pay a flat fee.
Who determines the value? So for example, if you get a listing, do you have to know what the value of the house is?
Value is an agreement.
If I can do something for free and I surprised you and you came home and your yard was mowed, you didn't agree upon that. I delivered value without an agreement.
Yeah, but are you just going to, that's not a business model.
Ask many lost leaders if you're familiar with.
I know about lost leaders. But
Amazon's the perfect example.
But what I'm saying is that you can't take the value, the worth of somebody away just based on a cost factor.
Okay, so
I think it's just getting oversimplified.
We'll get spiritual about this. There's intrinsic worth and there's extrinsic worth. You take a house in Brentwood and put it in the middle of the Mojave Desert, extrinsic worth is going to say that house is not worth it because of where it's located.
Location.
So the intrinsic value of someone is much different. And I think that...
Well, it's also when you take one house and it costs $500,000 here, in Arkansas, it may be $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
There's still value there.
I do think, though, let's go to the hamburger. Let's change it up a little bit.
No, I appreciate the dialogue here, really, because,
Yes.
I mean, seriously, because I want Jason speaking for some other people out there that are thinking that, trying to hang on to that.
I'll do it.
But I can get a hamburger at McDonald's. I can get a hamburger at Jonathan's. Okay, I'm going up in price. And then I can get a hamburger at the Rutledge or J. Alexander's. At the end of the day, it's still some meat between two buns, right? And I just went and I paid an increased price. Now, I choose to eat the higher end hamburger. That's my choice because I've created what I think to be worthy.
Perceived value.
Perceived value, right.
Right. A perceived value is because you've expressed it on something. Jonathan's didn't say, no, this is what that meat is the same meat over here, but I'm going to charge you. It's worth it.
Right.
But your perceived value of the environment, you get to sit down, it's quiet, it's clean. There's different things that you assign
sort of like
value
buying
to.
cereal on the bottom shelf or the middle shelf.
So what I'm saying, though, if you share
Comes out
with
of the same
me,
factory.
because the only reason why I feel that my perceived value at this one's better as a hamburger than that one, this agent is better than that one, where I'm willing to offer more or agree to, right, is because you have shared. You've marketed, you've told me, you've given me stories,
Right.
stories tell, et cetera, et cetera. I think it goes back to maybe your original comment where there's an agent and there's a professional. Mm-hmm. The agent that does not consider themselves the professional still is going to assume the part that they get the blank. And I think that's where we can have that discussion where I don't think that's worth that. They didn't take the time to improve
there's definitely
their
a place for both of these.
Sure.
Because some people are going to value that more, and then some people value the other. And I think it's you got the same goal is to help the customer at a high level. Same goal. Okay, it's just some customers will prefer one over the other. I think there's definitely room for both.
But I think also, though, Jason, you know that I hear what you're saying, but I think part of it is the assumption somebody walks in the business and all of a sudden they're worth what you and I are worth. That's not true.
No, and I think we're all agreeing to that.
Right, but they're getting what we should, but they
So-
shouldn't. That's
Right,
that's
and
where the
that's what
the
we're
breakdown.
saying.
That's where the disconnect.
And
is.
that's why we go back to where I think it definitely needs to be a higher bar.
Yeah,
There was
absolutely.
a very significant point to where in my career, there was a couple that moved to town. They bought a house. They lived there for 2 years. They didn't know a soul. And when they went to sell, we called them and said, "Hey, we got somebody who want to buy your house." They said, "We're going to use this agent that plays, their kids play with our kids, and she just got a
Right.
license."
Right.
Right.
And I said, "She didn't know who she, was she?" But we feel guilty not using her.
Right.
So the primary emotion that people have most often when they hire a real estate agent, a lot of time is rooted in guilt. And I have realized is that I get paid historically on my connection with someone more so than my competency. And if we want to create basically higher standards in the business, I can't wait for the association or the real estate board to get it right to say,
Yeah.
hey, you know what, we got to get more competent. And if I'm only playing the game of connecting, and I got to get out there and network, no like and trust, no like and trust, no like and trust, it is exhausting.
Oh, and I know some agents that's all their whole gimmick deal is that, and it's like, oh my God, how's this agent get that much business? Because they're a great connector.
They're great at connecting.
They're great at
So
connecting.
I look at it as like making a cake. You put in flour, eggs. When I start to build a cake of worth, it's like, how do I make it faster? How do I make it more predictable?
Right.
How do I make it easier? How do I make it cheaper?
Right.
And I'm building a
McDonald's.
cake so that someone says, this cake is worth it. But I
Yeah.
had to put the ingredients in there to build a great cake.
Right. Right.
This is a
Guys,
lot.
yeah,
This
we
is
could,
a
I
lot.
told you we could go on and on with this guy.
Oh, yeah.
There's a
But
lot
I
of
think we
things to
circle
think
back.
about.
The penguin is on the iceberg. Yes?
And everybody's got
That's
cold
right.
But
feet.
here's the deal, that it is melting. So I do feel we're going to go somewhere in between where you're headed. Something has to change because
Absolutely.
it is
And
melting underneath
that's
us.
the moral of the story. here,
Yeah,
is
I
that
think that's where we want to take it full circle.
Let's-
And if we meet
because-
again, I'd like to talk about the long-term relevance of agents. I think it's very important to have
Right.
long-term relevance in the industry. I think it's very important to have a place. We have a significant contribution to the world, and I don't want to see that go away. For us to not go away, we got to start to act a little bit differently. We got to start to think a little bit
Amen.
differently.
That's
Amen.
great.
I
Absolutely.
agree.